You're listening to Create Wealth Through Franchising, and I'm your host, Kim Daly. In my 20 years as a franchise consultant, I've helped hundreds of people achieve their dreams of building and scaling franchise businesses to create wealth. The interview you're about to hear can also be found on my YouTube channel, where I post new franchising content multiple times per week. Please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and to my YouTube channel at kimdaly.tv. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to Kim Daly TV. Today, I have two very special and longtime friends who are joining me to talk about a new franchise that they are bringing to market. Please meet Peter Barkman and Jeffrey Bean of Canine Resorts.
Hey, Kim.
Thank you so much, Kim.
I'm so happy to have you here today. So we're going to talk about a business that I personally love. The second that I saw the website for this particular franchise, I was in. I want to be a customer. I want to own one. And I wanted to have you on my show to share more about this exciting new franchise opportunity. So, who out there doesn't love their pet? Okay, most of the people, I'll tell my story. Most of the people that know me by my dogs, because if you're friends with me on social media, I post more about my dogs than I do about my children. First of all, because I have teenage boys and they're never around. And second of all, my dogs love me more than my kids. But I spend a lot of money on the farmer's dog to feed my dogs, which is human grade food. I spend money for a person to walk my dog, even though I also walk my dogs. I spend money to have dog poop picked up in my backyard. I spend money when I travel, right, to board my dogs. And that's what we're going to talk about today, luxury boarding for dogs. So, Peter, why don't you open the conversation and share a little bit about Canine Resorts?
Yeah, so Canine Resorts, it's the happiest, healthiest, safest place on the planet for your four-legged loved one. And you're not alone, Kim, because everybody loves their dog. When you go away, right, or even you just go to the grocery store or to the mailbox, right, when you come back, who's happy to see you, right? Your dog. You've been gone so long. I was at the mailbox. We love our dogs because they love us so much. And, you can tell a kid if you have a little kid, and mine are all grown up now, they're big and bad. But when they were little, you could tell them, hey, daddy's going away, but daddy's coming back. With a dog, you can't do that, right? So you want to make sure that they're in a place where they're having fun, they're healthy, right? It's a safe place. And when you drop them off, they're excited to be there. And then when you pick them up, they're excited to see you and they're jumping all over you because it's that grand reunion again. But they want to go back inside and play with their pals. And that's right. Canine Resorts.
It's not like when you drop your dog at the vet or the groomer, and for the first time they're excited, and then the second time you bring them, they know when they know what's up. you get the stiff-legged. No, I'm not
That's
going
right.
in there.
That's right. Yeah,
right.
It's because we don't do anything at Canine that doesn't bum a dog out, right? We don't do shots, we don't do grooming, we don't clip nails, we don't cut hair. We just do stuff that's like Disneyland for dogs, right? So they're going to have a great time. They're going to be on vacation when you're on vacation. Or if you're going to work for the day, or you just got plans for the day and you need to leave your dog at home, maybe you're going skiing, right, or something like that, and you're leaving your dog at home. If you bring them to daycare, they're gonna have a blast playing with their pals. And when you pick them up, they're going to be dog tired. So they'll get lots of exercise. They'll have a lot of fun. Then you'll pick them up, and then you guys can chill and watch something on TV, and they're not going to be all wired because they've been home alone all day.
Jeffrey, tell the audience a little bit more about how did this business get started? Like, when was Canine Resorts founded? Who started it and why? What was the motivation for creating this? I think what I've heard one of you say at some point, sort of like the four seasons for dog boarding.
Yeah, if you go back to the origins, and Pete's right around the corner. He lives right around the corner from where these guys started. But Stephen and Jason Parker started this many years ago, and really the foundation for it started when they started a dog walking business. right? That was the foundation of it. These two guys love dogs. You've never seen any two people love dogs more than these two guys do. But gradually it morphed into the dog boarding, taking dog care, and then they realized, hey, there's a gap in what's out there. They actually started franchising it in 2013, and then the growth of this thing is just taken off. But they're based in New Jersey. Started off, and the cool thing is, Kim, like everything you look for in a franchisor, you're getting from these guys. Like what you want is systems. You want proven. You want folks that have thought about all the little things that you don't have to think about. And over the years, that's what these guys have done, right? Whether it's the microbial, like the antimicrobial walls or the astroturf in the back. In most places, for example, these dogs play on astroturf, okay? But if you go to most dog care places, that astroturf is on top of concrete, right? These guys over the years have realized, okay, if we put a filtration system underneath that and we sanitize that a couple times daily and we deep clean it once a week, like they've thought of everything, right? So over the years,
Wow.
since again, they've been doing this for many, many years, and it started out from a love of dogs, but then they thought of every little detail. Like, hey, we've got two customers here. We've got the dog owner who's dropping this dog off, and we got the dog. And you mentioned something that's really important and core to the brand. When you see, and Peter mentioned this, the first time I ever toured a canine, you watch the dogs get out of the car, and they literally are jetting for that front door of the canine, right? The Canine Resorts, because they want to go there. Whereas I'm used to bringing the dog to the vet, and that's the worst thing in the world, right? They're freaking out and wanting to get back in that car.
Hey, Daly Coach fans, if this franchise sounds like a fit for you, I would love to be your Daly Coach. Email me right now for a totally free consultation at inquire@kimdaly.tv. And I love that you went right to the quality of the franchisor. So we dove right into the conversation about canine, but let's just stop and talk about how the three of us have been friends for so many years, right? So Peter and Jeff, I've known them for a long time. You followers of Kim Daly know that I've been in the franchise industry for a long time. Well, as long as these two have. And these guys are both professional developers. They when they say, Kim, this is a good brand, this is a good franchisor, it makes me say, okay, let's go. I do not doubt it, because I know that these guys know what they're talking about. So just both of you, I guess, Peter, you start. Tell a little bit about your background, just to bring some credibility to, it's not just about Canine Resorts. It's never about the widget here on Kim Daly TV. It's always about the people. So these are two of the people that you'll first get to meet through this investigation, but then you'll be served up to the founders and the operational and support team. But Peter, introduce yourself to the followers of Kim Daly TV, please.
Yeah, so I've been in franchising for 35 years now. I started as a college kid running a college pro painting franchise and just stayed in it, became a senior leader with brands that you know, Mako and CertaPro Painters. And then, got involved with Canine Resorts, and really I was just drawn to it for the team is amazing. The category is ridiculous, right? Everybody loves their dog, and everybody got a dog during COVID, and all those dogs are super needy. And we don't. Dogs used to be utilitarian, and now, they're a part of the family. They're the hub of the family. So that's not going to change anytime soon. And then, when I looked at how well the franchisees were doing from a financial standpoint, that got me very, very excited. When I got to talk to them and hear about how well the business was doing, just in terms of the top line revenues and bottom line profitability, that made me very, very excited, because you can have a great business that you're passionate about, but if it doesn't do well financially, eventually it's going to get old. Right. So this is a pretty special business. The team is world class. The category is something everyone can get passionate about. And they're uniquely positioned because there is nothing like this in the market.
Peter's being a little bit humble because he skipped a few brands that he and I
Just
have
about to say
had
that.
epic
Yep.
runs with over the years, but we won't go into it all, I guess, on this conversation. But let's just suffice to say that Peter is a master at what he does, and like I said, when he says to Kim, this is a good brand, I vetted it, I'm developing it, I want you to get excited about it. That's all he has to say. I'm excited about it. So I'm excited to introduce my world to Peter Barkman. So the same is going to happen with Jeffrey Bean. Jeffrey, tell us a little bit about your background in franchise development.
Right. So I'll be a little more specific and I'll tie it into Pete because you're right. He was being humble. And look, it does relate to what we're talking about today in Canine Resorts. When we say it's a world-class brand and we've seen world-class brands develop, we've got at least the experience to be able to say that and have some credibility behind it. As you know, Kim, I worked with Amco Transmissions, which is a massive automotive repair brand that was all over the country. Peter and I actually spent time together. We spent many years together, nearly a decade, at CertaPro Painters, which is now a $700+ million franchise, and we watched the development of that brand. Right. So, we worked together both in operations and in franchise development.
Wait. You watched the development of that brand?
We were part of it.
Or you drove the development of that brand?
Right.
Let's be clear.
But listen, that gave us a lot to be able to watch a brand go from 100 franchisees to just exploding, and then just a national presence is really cool. And so with Canine, you see the building blocks, right? And the key is the leadership team, the differentiators in the marketplace, like they're present with this brand. So this brand right now has 75+ units open or in development, right? Like this is going to have a run, but with the systems they have in place, the leadership team, Peter and I have seen it, and these guys have it ready to go.
It's going to have an epic run, especially if people just go to the website and look at the luxuriousness of when you walk through the doors. You're like, I want to stay here. Like, it's amazing, right? So, okay, so let's talk about the ideal candidate for Canine Resorts. So we mentioned a pet lover. Having done this long enough, I know that. I don't need somebody who loves dogs like I do, probably to show it, but you probably need somebody who at least is interested in dogs, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we're looking for. We've done a pretty good job, of making sure we get the right candidates for Canine Resorts. The candidates we're looking for are fairly sophisticated from a business standpoint. They're used to running teams or large projects. They may be C-level type folks, or they may be multi-unit franchise owners of other brands. This is definitely a brand that is managed, that can be run as manager run. We do have franchisees that run it as operators, and they love it. Like we have a guy who's a very successful attorney that he says he's a recovering attorney, and he just loves going in and hanging out and playing with the dogs. He's not crazy about people, but he loves dogs, and he runs a very successful business. But then we have, a 50-unit McDonald's owner and people who own, 38 Planet Fitnesses that have become a part of the Canine team, and having that caliber of franchisee join this team just makes it that much better.
You have 75 units open or in development, and you have goals for the next year or so. Like, how big do you think this business can go?
Peter, why don't you take that, because you've been actively involved. You've been talking about that a lot recently.
So we're looking for 300 units across the country in different markets. So that's really what we're looking to get to. We want to have a presence in most markets. It's not for every market, but most markets, it's a good fit.
Kim, I was just going to say, Peter hit on something, that there's two versions of this, right? There's the boutique, which we can put in a smaller market, or there's the full scale resort, right? And they differ in their footprint as far as square footage is concerned, but there does need to be some population density in order to justify even the boutique. Right? So, Peter, why don't you take that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that we're looking for. We have done a pretty good job, making sure we get the right candidates for Canine Resorts. The candidates we're looking for are fairly sophisticated from a business standpoint. They're used to running teams or large projects. They may be C-level type folks, or they may be multi-unit franchise owners of other brands. This is definitely a brand that is managed, that can be run as manager run. We do have franchisees that
boutique model.
Right.
So,
And the volume of dogs in a certain like per capita area, right? So what I was going to say is with this type of model, you have a sort of a physical space limitation, at least to the overnight boarding part, right? To where you're going to quote sell out. So do you have like a territory around their location that then an owner may be looking at doing 2 or 3 locations so that they could say, hey, we're fully booked here, but we have another location 5 miles down the road?
yeah, you're typically looking at a 4 mile radius, give or take, depending on the population and the population density inside there.
Yep.
And then yes, you'll be able to be able to refer them out to the other canine resorts should you be. And the guys, for example, up in New Jersey do that all the time, right? If they don't have and this time of year, Kim, like this is peak season, right? Where you have people traveling. This is vacations and everything else. This is peak boarding season for canine resorts, for example. This is a time where they're going to refer those people out if they're already packed up.
Yeah, and I would say a big concern of a candidate might be, look, I don't want to be in a business where my peaks are like nights, weekends, holidays when everybody else is on vacation. What do you say to the candidate that might present that as like the limiting reason to looking at this business?
Well, this is a pretty, this is a full type business with a manager run type business, right? So it's not necessarily that the franchisee, most of the franchisees that we have are multi-unit operators. The average franchisee has close to 3. And there's no way they can be in all 3 at once, right? So they have managers that run each of these. And so their involvement is really working on the business, not necessarily in it. So they're not going to be there during the holidays or during the summers and things like that. They're more working on the business than in it.
And the cool thing is, Kim, and this is one of the things that struck me about the business is you look at the people working there. They are so ecstatic to be working there. Okay, so number one, they don't need to be licensed to do the grooming or the vet techs or anything like that. These are people that want to be around dogs, right? So when you're hiring, we always talk about hire for attitude, train for skill, right? They can be cross-trained inside this. It's not high employee. At the outset, right. In year one, an average canine resort's going to have 11 total employees, right? And the bigger they get, they'll need more. But that's total employees, higher, right? So, and these people want to be there. They want to be around dogs. They love dogs. So, convincing them that they need to work till 7 o'clock at night and be around dogs it's not tough. It's not difficult.
Hey, Daly Coach fans, if you're inspired by this conversation, I invite you to email me right now to explore this franchise opportunity. My email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. So how does a business like this how did it do during COVID? Is a business like this severely impacted or no? Because, you still have to, if you're going to board your dog, you're going to board your dog. Or, if you're home all day long working and you want to get rid of the dog so it's not barking, like I do in my case, did I just answer my own question? One of you answer that professionally.
Yeah, well, the only time we saw any lag at all was during the shutdown. But after the shutdown, it was beyond what we ever even expected. We kind of thought that, because everyone was getting a dog during COVID, that the numbers, we might see a spike, but we didn't expect to see it to be as strong as it is. And we don't see that ending anytime soon.
This is definitely a business that has that recession resistant, long-term sustainability, those factors to it for those candidates out there that like the idea of owning a business that has that recession resistance, long-term sustainable, something you and your kids and family can be passionate about, all participating in and have almost that legacy feeling. I mean, imagine bringing your kids to work when you own a pet hotel. Like, how fun is that? Yep. And Jeff had hit on some of the systems, and we're not going to get into that really in this format, but just to understand that these two developers know what world-class franchising is because they've been around it. And they're representing this younger brand because they see that even in its sort of like infancy, this business has all of that world-class, factor to it. And now we just need investors. So if this story has inspired you and you think you want to learn more about Canine Resorts, you know that Kim Daly would love to be your daily coach. I'm going to ask you to reach directly out to me. My email address is inquire@kimdaly.tv. If you use that email, you'll come to me, allow me the opportunity to pre-screen you, to pre-qualify you financially, to make sure that the area that you live in is open and viable for Canine Resorts. And then I'll serve you right back to one of these two. How does that sound, Jeff and Pete?
Sounds great.
Sounds awesome.
Sounds awesome.
Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up this awesome conversation about a business that I am so excited to be representing?
No, look, I just would tell people like this is a special franchise in that people love going there. The dogs love going there. And Pete once said it to me, he said, Jeff, because he had been there before, and he said, just look at people's faces when you're in there, right? So I walk in their place, and every time you look around, like everybody's smiling because they're looking at the dogs. Like this is truly a feel-good business. Yes, the money's good, the bottom line is great, and the people are great. But I'm telling you, like this is one of those franchises. It's unique in that you just look forward to going in every day. The employees look forward to going in every day. It's a fun place to be.
There's something to be said for a business it's solving a problem, but it's not solving a problem, right? It's not like plumbing where it's like, ugh, right? It's solving a problem for the dog owner, but in a very happy, fun, passionate way, right?
That's right. And there's nothing like it. Just check out the reviews for any canine resort. They're off the charts. So customers just love it. Whether you're a millennial or you're an empty nester, your dog is your kid, and you want them to be happy, healthy, safe, and
It's
having a
so
great
true.
time,
I
right?
definitely don't want Chloe and Quinn stressed out when I'm away. I love that feeling of knowing my dogs are having fun or well taken care of so that when I come home, they're not sick, which I have had happen at, loud, noisy, barking kennels where the dogs are just sort of crated most of the time. Chloe got very sick and nearly died after one experience there. So that isn't happening again. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's a one
that
and
was a one
done.
and done. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise and for being guests on kimdaly.tv.
Thanks for having us, Kim.
Again, that email address, if you're interested in learning more, is inquire@kimdaly.tv. And until next time, my name is Kim Daly, and I want to be your daily coach. If you found this inspiring, please contact me at inquire@kimdaly.tv. My consulting services are totally free to you. Again, that email is inquire@kimdaly.tv. I can't wait to hear from you.